Well, hello, hello, hello. We have here with us Justice the artist. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for agreeing to be with us here today.
Yeah,
So,
no
if you
problem.
don't mind, yeah, go ahead and please introduce yourself. You can give your name, pronouns, where you're from, and what do you do.
All right, hey, I'm Justice the artist. Um, I'm an artist, of course. I'm a musical recording artist. I am from Jamaica, and I make a mixture of, I'd say, Jamaican music with literally anything I can get my hands on.
Okay,
So yeah, that's what I do.
awesome. So, thank you for introducing yourself. First of all, we wanted to know how do you wake up today? So, like, what is something that you do on a daily basis, or like, what is your daily routine like? Like, what do you do when you wake up as an artist?
As I wake up, I have devotions because I'm a Christian. So I
Okay.
have devotions sometimes. Yeah, I try to do it daily. I
Mm-hmm.
don't always, but and work out. That's mostly it.
Like, this you in the zone for the
Eh,
day. Okay. Um. So then, like, how will you describe your music to somebody that doesn't know what kind of music you make? How will you describe it to people, and what kind of emotion are you trying to have them feel when they listen to your music?
I describe my music as I want to use the word encouragement before anything else
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's definitely been a main topic that it surrounds my music.
Mm-hmm.
Encouragement. Outside of that, where it concerns the sound, I think it's just hybrid music, trying to be able to create bridges with cultures with every single song that I create. So I remember even on the project I just dropped the other day, we're
Mm-hmm.
probably going to get into it later.
Yes, we will.
I had this song where I mixed hip hop with Jamaican music, more dancehall. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those are two different worlds in and of themselves, but to be able to put it together and to get people who love hip hop and who love dancehall music to be able to find something and be like, yeah, we like this was definitely a part of how that came to being. But yeah, I love making hybrid music and encouraging people. Yeah,
That is sweet. And what is the name of that song that you were just describing?
it's called Every Day.
Every day.
Every day.
And that's
Yeah.
from your latest project called
Yes, my latest project called The Color Wheel,
The
which
Color Wheel.
yeah,
Awesome.
it just dropped, I think the 18th.
The 18th of
So
February. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so we've been listening to your latest project and the project before that.
Ah,
So yeah, so it is like, I mean, there is some lyrics that are like caught of attention, and then like we also were able to notice what you were saying about like a hybrid. I like the word that you use, hybrid, to describe like how it like includes like different culture, sounds and stuff like that. So that's super cool, and that's something that I appreciate in your music that I was able to see. So let's talk a little bit about this latest project that you have dropped. So why do you call it the color wheel?
well, I actually, to be honest, I'm blunt because a lot of artists like to say their project came from this deep-rooted meaning of some deep thinking. This
Mm-hmm.
project kind of created a life of its own because I had just met my manager and we were speaking about creating a project, and he basically fell in love with my artistry
Mm-hmm.
through one song, one unreleased song that he really liked, which was Color Wheel, which is
Oh.
basically the title song of my the project.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, the song's name is Color Wheel. It's name of the project Color Wheel. I was like, no, that's so bland. But after thinking about it and actually creating a concept from it, We're like, okay, I'm not gonna name it Color Wheel, I'm gonna name it The Color Wheel so it has more feel towards it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Color Wheel is basically a project about expressing different emotions and kind of showing different ways as humans that we do. So the motive phrase of the project is basically, though we go through different hues and shades of life, we still live on the same color wheel, which is
Mm-hmm.
like we still go through certain things that are very similar. You know, it may not be purple, but we might go through red and blue,
Mm-hmm.
and we are able to find like a bridge in towards, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
things that we go through this color wheel of life. But yeah, that's the deep rooted meaning behind it that we kind of created as the project
It's
evolved.
Thanks for explaining. I feel like listening to you talk about it, it like makes more sense to me because like it's not that the project didn't make sense, but like I actually like I know what went behind like what you were thinking about when you were creating the project and like the
Yeah,
cover and everything and the name and all that kind of stuff. Because
yeah,
when I listened to the project myself, I was like, color wheel, this is interesting, but I didn't know. Like I like the name and everything, but of course I didn't know the meaning behind it.
yeah.
So when you talk
I
about
get
like,
that.
yeah, when you talk about the different colors that we go through, like or emotions and stuff, like it makes like so much sense. And then like associate that with the songs on the project. And I have some favorites. Yes, I do have some favorites, and I saw that you recently posted you were asking people about their favorites, but you didn't talk about your favorites. So like, tell us which ones are your favorites.
Oh, okay. Um, Another thing that a lot of artists say is that, oh, I don't have a favorite because this all of these songs are my babies. I won't say that. I love like what I create, but I
Mm-hmm.
do definitely have some favorites basically because of how I was able to express how I felt in the moment
Mm-hmm.
and how it came out musically and quality wise. So my favorite, mm, I want to say there's a couple. There's a couple. I don't think there's a one.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
I definitely like Till I Win,
Okay.
um, which is the outro. I love Try and I love Youth at War. Those
Yes.
those are, I'd say, the ones that I think I love how I created it and the end product. And most
Mm-hmm.
people will just see the end product and won't be able to get, oh, he did all of this just
Right.
here. So those are, I love the process of creating those and the outcome.
Great.
Yeah.
So you talk about the process. So I do want to know what goes behind the scenes when you come to create like such a sound that is like you said so different and it includes different um art and like just different features of like different genres of music and stuff.
Yeah.
So like we're gonna talk about like if you could talk about what went behind that and then also what are some of your influences. We can talk about that a little bit later, but like what went behind you creating some of your favorite songs, like the ones you
Yeah.
mentioned, like Until the World. um yeah, like what went behind that.
I I had been, so there's a this album was, I want to say, split in a way
Mm-hmm.
where I've been back and forth from Jamaica to America because I'm doing my tertiary education up here,
Okay.
and some of it was created up here, and because of that and because of my surroundings, I think I was influenced more by the music that's played around here.
In
So
America, you mean?
yeah, in
Okay.
America. So up here, there's like of definitely predominantly hip hop. There's R&B, there's pop, and those three are normally like the core sounds that you hear up here. And because of that, I feel like my inner musician is a chameleon where I go somewhere and I change color because I want to find something new. Of course, I still hold my who I am as an artist, but I blend and mix with different things. And I came here and made I think I finished Woman of Wisdom. I started it in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
I did, which is Wow. I think it's named Wow on the project. But
Yeah.
I did try up hair. I did try hair.
Oh, really?
True. Yeah. And because I normally like record myself and do most of the mixing, but I did have a lot of help this
Mm,
project. And then I went back to Jamaica.
okay.
I spent some time there a couple months ago. And because of just being around my friends, my family, listening to the music, they listen to dancehall, reggae, like roots reggae, full on dancehall. I couldn't help but to create what was around me, which is how Youths at War and Love Alone came about. Even Treble Clef, even though Treble Clef is more leaning towards Afrobeat,
Mm,
like it's still held near towards like that Jamaican sound.
gotcha.
So I'd say this project in and of itself was more a color wheel in its sound. So there were different elements that could represent a different color. And even in the visualizer on YouTube, you'll see every single song has a different color. I'd say, which is what my team and I kind of incorporated towards each and every song. We felt like, okay, this feels like blue, this feels like green, this feels like purple. So yeah, I hope I
Awesome.
answered the question.
You did. You did absolutely, truly, and fully. So
Thank
yeah, it's so amazing again because like I was listening to like the album and I'm like, though I'm learning so much about like what went behind the scenes, like how you came up with the concepts and stuff like that. So that's super
you.
cool.
Yeah,
So you talk about like one of your songs has more like an Afrobeats um sound and like the genre of the album, like you say, it's like it's Afrobeats, but of course, like I'm learning that it's also like dance hall and other Jamaica genres. So I have a question for you.
yeah,
So there has been kind of like this conversation between like, oh, what is considered Afrobeats, or is it like coming from like Jamaican music and stuff like that? So like,
yeah.
how do you think like Afrobeats and more like Caribbean music such as reggae or other kinds of like dance hall and all that kind of stuff. How do you think they are different in a sense, Afrobeats and reggae and more Caribbean sound music versus are they more influenced by each other or so, or what do you think?
I definitely think we're all influenced by each other, but at the same time, a culture is a culture, and each culture creates its different sound, and it develops differently in different places. And music is music, it's I want to say it's language. So
Mm-hmm.
when you go to a place you love and you love it so much, you want to bring some of that language back, and that's why people um visit Jamaica and go back to America and say Wagwan and like try to emulate what they saw there,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean music is a language. And I I won't say I get into a lot of the politics around music and how a lot of people feel towards different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love hearing people's opinions, but at the end of the day, music is music, no matter where it's from, who it's from. Like, and I just love loving music. Yeah.
Awesome. I love the way you said that. Um, so we talked about your current project and such, but you also had a previous project, if I'm correct, called Renaissance. And then
Yeah.
also a theme behind that project that I saw is like you had like some proverbs from the Bible and stuff. And
Yeah.
then um I wanted you to talk a little bit more about that project and then also like how you compare the two. Was that like your first project ever that you put out, by the way?
No.
Okay.
I dropped the project in 2019
Mm.
called Inspiration Station. It was my first project, and because it was my first project, it didn't sound the best. I mean, this first project, that's how most people's first projects are.
Mm.
But I think I deleted it off of most places. just
Yeah,
because
I
I was,
didn't find it. I couldn't find it.
rebrand, so nobody would be like, that's how he sounded then. But yeah, Renaissance was definitely, I think it was a rebirth in my view on music,
Mm,
because I when I around the time when I created Inspiration Station, I just moved to America, and I didn't even want to be a singer or
mm-hmm,
a all-rounded artist. I just wanted to be a rapper because that's where I started off.
mm,
So I felt like I was trying to be someone who I wasn't. And
mm,
after creating that project, promoting it, and looking back on it at that time, I was like, I feel like there were elements of myself that weren't shown. And I said, okay, let me start back from the drawing board and create a renaissance of my sound. And the word renaissance basically means rebirth. So it was basically me looking back at everything that I had made and say, okay, let me recreate who I am as an artist and recreate the sounds that I emulate in my music to create this new body of work that properly summarizes who I am in a project. And I think it I think it did that for the most part. Yeah, I as a human, we constantly evolve. So me looking back on creating that project, I can say I don't think I'll ever be able to create a project that fully emulates myself because I constantly like
evolve.
evolve.
Mm,
So, but that was the thought process behind Renaissance. Yeah.
okay. That's good because like I didn't actually I was listening to it today and I didn't get to finish it, but I did notice that you had like some like religious like call outs or like what's the word features to it. Like for example, there's a part where you are like, well, there is a song that is called that it has like a proverb on it, and then also
Yeah.
there is one where you're like, God is here, God is listening. So like
Yeah.
yeah, so I was wondering like how important is like the message of like or like how important is it into your life and how do you incorporate into your music your personal beliefs into God and like religious aspects and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, I grew up with pastors as parents. I'm a
Okay.
pastor's kid. That's not easy. There's a lot of expectation, and things that you should do as a pastor's kid that a lot of people, I don't think, I feel like I rejected a
Mm,
lot, and I had to refine myself as a person. But definitely God is a big part of my life. God is my life, to be honest. Um, I think I love to be able to promote my faith in my music,
mm,
but I think with as I grew and became older, I felt like there was a way that I could do it where it may not. Most people who aren't even like religious are able to see it and be like, ah, I get you, instead of speaking in what most people would call Christianese.
mm.
So I felt like in that project, I was able to be myself and still reach out to people who weren't like even Christian. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Um so I do appreciate kind of like like you have talked about like your different projects and stuff and you we have noticed like that you have grown as an artist and like the way you produce like the quality of your sound and stuff like that. I do really like the color wheel. Like it feels like such a blown up project. Like I compare it to like your previous project. I'm like, okay, I can see like how the quality of the sound is better and stuff like that. And then
Yeah,
also like the artwork, like I mean all the artwork is good, but like I just like the way that you're doing it. So
I
shout out to you
appreciate
for
that.
that.
Can I shout my team out real quick?
Of course, you read my mind. I was gonna be like, do you have anybody that you want to shout out? So go ahead.
Yeah, I have the best team possible. I definitely feel like these are people who see exactly what I try to portray in my music
Mm,
and put into reality. So I have a production team. Um, my friend Kyle Hay, he basically does he actually shifted into doing videography and did the Treble Clef music video.
Okay.
So there's Kyle, there's Asim. Asim has made most of my music from the start.
Wow.
So if you look in the credits for all of my music, you're definitely gonna see his name constantly in almost every single song. So I have to definitely shout out Asim. Another artist friend of mine, Kingston, who is featured on I think every single project I've ever made.
Oh, wow.
So he has definitely been there and helped me in my process of becoming who I am right now. My creative team, Daniel, Jada, Shane, Bianca, they're beautiful human beings. My manager, Brian, like these are the people who are like the core behind who I am right now. And I just have to give them all the thanks possible.
Of course, gotta give them the flowers.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that you are surrounded by people that care about you and like how you grow as an artist and stuff. Because like there is like so many situations in which people don't end up that way.
Yeah.
So definitely, I hope it keeps growing and it keeps strong. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add? You want to tell people about you?
Yeah, I do want to say, I don't know if I should be saying this early, but I'm gonna say it. Next project is basically finished. Okay.
Wow.
It's finished. We're it's there, you know. I just want to let them know we're prepared. And from this project, The Color Wheel, there's so much more to come. There's music videos, live performances. We have merch coming soon. Like, and I don't want to say too much. We have special things coming. Definitely some special things. But
that's what we like to hear. And where can people find you?
You can find me on all streaming platforms, Justice the Artist with an E at the end. People always forget that there's an E at the end. I think because I don't say Justice the Artiste.
Right.
But yeah, Justice the Artist on all streaming platforms, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. It's Justice the Artist.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you soon.
Take you to France, you just gotta give me uno más chance. I'ma get make who bust a one dance. Now tell me you already got plans. Matter of fact, let's tour the world.